Welcome to 10 Career Questions. My name is Kevin Abnell, and I'm the Executive Director of the York County Alliance for Learning. This video is part of a series of interviews where we speak to various professionals working within each of the 16 nationally recognized career clusters. The purpose of this series is to get to know people working within each career cluster and to help promote a better understanding of various career paths. Resources like this video are intended to help promote career awareness and career exploration as students move closer to making important career decisions. Today, we'll be speaking to someone in the Business Management and Administration career cluster. This career cluster is focused on careers in planning, organizing, directing, and evaluating business functions essential to efficient and productive business operations. Thank you for being here today. Welcome to 10 Career Questions. We'll jump in with question number 1. What is your name and who do you work for?
Well, thank you, Kevin. Thanks for having me here at YCAL. So my name is Loni Smith, and I am the CEO of Hanover Auto Team. And CEO basically is a fancy title for Chief Executive Officer, but I hope that I'm a servant leader at Hanover Auto Team.
Great. So as the CEO, Chief Executive Officer, what are some of the things that you oversee, or what's sort of your day-to-day functions?
Sure. So we have a team of over 260 employees from 5 different locations here in Hanover. And we are multiple car dealerships, essentially. We also have a rental car operation. We have a collision center. We have an off-roads. We can do things kind of special to vehicles. But long and short, we service or repair vehicles, and we sell vehicles. And my role as Chief Executive Officer is to really lead this team of employees. And I also have the privilege of leading a team of about 30 managers from across our whole organization. And I try to be very present and available for our employees to know what's going on in every part of our operation. I try to spend time at each location every week, visiting each location multiple times a week. And my primary function is to be the strategic leader for our company. So that entails articulating a vision for Hanover Auto Team and making sure that everything we do is reflective of our mission, vision, and values. Great.
Now I know this career cluster is a very sort of wide-reaching career cluster, but your specific industry, would you mind just giving an overview of the industry that you work in?
Sure. So I'm in the automobile business, and I specifically, like I said, help to operate multiple dealerships which sell and service vehicles. We have a Toyota store, a Nissan store, a Mazda store, and a Volkswagen store, and then we also have a used car dealership as well. And the auto industry is just one of the most fascinating businesses to be a part of, because within a dealership, there are so many different facets of a business. So you have marketing, you have sales, you have service, you have IT, human resources, and I could go on and on. So I think that's one thing that's really neat about the auto industry is it encompasses so many different fields within the automobile business.
That's great, and that's perfect because I think that's one thing they don't always teach you in school is that for instance, I was a marketing major, so my thought was, I'm going to go work for a marketing firm. Well, no, you realize that businesses, a lot of businesses have marketing people that they hire. So it's great that you work in that one specific industry, but it's very much sort of departmentalized like a lot of places are. Loni, how long have you worked in the automobile industry, and what are some past roles or titles you may have had, even if it's outside of the auto industry?
Sure. That's a great question because I really grew up in this industry. So my dad opened Hanover Toyota in 1990. I was 10 years old at the time, and I started by answering phones and checking out service customers. So I was a cashier and a receptionist in the evenings after school. And then between college and graduate school, I had the opportunity to sell cars as well. And when our children were little, I actually stayed home and made service follow-up calls and sales follow-up calls to ensure that our customers had a great experience. Interestingly, I never planned to come back and run our family business, but never say never.
Right.
And I actually went to college for political science and speech communications. I went to the University of Pittsburgh, and then I went to graduate school and studied public policy at the University of Pennsylvania. So I actually started my career working for the Navy in logistics. And then I went on to get into education. I taught at York College in the political science department. And then I was also a guidance counselor and K-12 principal as well. And as my family started to look at the future and the future of our organization, my dad wanted to make sure that Hanover Auto Team would be led by someone who had the same values and care for people and relationships. And he approached me about leading our company. And after a lot of thought and discussion as a family, we decided that really was the best move for our 260 employees and for our community.
That's great. Because my next question was going to be, what kind of training and education did you have to get to your job? And you covered that really well. So really your training started at the age of 10, by the sounds of it. So you were answering phones at the age of 10?
Well, technically I was 13, but
Okay.
I spent a lot of time at the dealership because when, your dad's trying to build a business, he
Right.
pretty much worked all the time. So anytime I could get with my dad, I wanted it. So I would definitely be at the dealership quite a bit. It was it started really as a small family affair.
Absolutely. I always joke, my parents also own their own business, and I always joke, people are like, what was your first job? I'm like, legally speaking, or are you asking like my first official job, or you talk about when I was like 6 or 7, like moving boxes around for my parents' store.
Exactly.
We'll cut that one from the video. No, I'm just kidding. All right, that's great. So we're always talking about soft skills or essential skills, personality traits. What do you feel are some personality traits or maybe some characteristics of people that are successful in your field? And feel free if you want to discuss certain job types and which personality traits kind of tie in well with each of those.
I think to be successful in this business and really in any field, you have to care about people. So there's this saying that, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And I really find that to be true. People will not follow your leadership if you don't legitimately care about them and about the organization. So I think you can be a leader no matter what your position is. And you have to lead by example, and be willing to listen to people and put other people before yourself. Being humble and willing to learn something new all the time. So when I hire employees, I always look at character first, so have they demonstrated an ability to work hard and to listen, and how will they approach challenges when they're faced with them? Also, does the person have a teachable spirit? Are they willing to learn new things? So I think really those characteristics or personality traits really stretch all industries. And, I think if you care about people and you're willing to work hard and learn new things, I think you'll be successful, at least in our business, but probably in most fields.
That's a great way to put it. And I can share that, well, it was Bob Kinsley. I'll give credit where credit's due. Who we unfortunately lost earlier this year, but Bob Kinsley said he wants to see people smiling, and if you show up willing to learn with a good attitude, he said we'll teach you everything you need to know. And it's again, so construction, maybe a very different industry, but those same personality traits can really make you successful in either of those industries. So that's great. Loni, what would you say is the best part about your job?
Absolutely, watching people grow professionally and personally. So the car business is great because if you have that great attitude and you can build relationships with people and work hard, you can build an extremely successful career. So I love watching folks just get started with us and even in an entry-level position and end up as a key manager and key leader in our company. And that is absolutely possible in this business.
That's great. Kind of have to flip it around a little bit. I hate to focus on the negative, but what would you say is the most challenging part about your job, or maybe just the industry in general? Either one.
So I think a couple things here. I think with regard to the industry, I think one of the most challenging things is overcoming this reputation or the idea that our industry, the auto industry, is somehow bad, that car salespeople take advantage of customers. You know, like any other industry, there are, you know, probably solid and truthful and transparent dealerships and maybe others that aren't so much, but you find that in all businesses, right? And
Absolutely.
you know, we run a very transparent, honest business that is about building relationships with our customers and the community, and that's how you become successful. If you don't do that, you're not going to be a successful business. But there is kind of that reputation, I think, to overcome, because that notion that car salespeople just want to take advantage of you, and it's not the case. Not all car dealers are bad. And I think the most challenging element of my position is probably when I have to part ways with someone or let someone go. And that's always tough. We try to really work with folks and make sure that they're in the right seat on the bus. And if possible, we, you know, if they have good character and a great attitude and a willingness to learn, you know, maybe it's just they're in the wrong position. So we'll try to find a position for them if they embody those good character traits. But sometimes, you know, you will run across individuals where they are not promulgating your mission, vision, and values. And that's always challenging when you have to come to that decision and part ways with someone. And those are the things that can keep you up at night and can be challenging about leadership. Just not easy decisions.
I absolutely agree, and yep, I've experienced that in my career as well. Whether it's because of an economic reason or performance issue, or maybe they did something that they absolutely have made that bed for themselves. It's never easy to tell someone that I'm sorry, you're not going to be here anymore. So I certainly echo that one. In terms of your industry, what do you think the career outlook is going to look like in the next 1 to 5 years? Do you think there'll be plenty of job opportunities, or how do you think it's looking in the future?
Absolutely. I think it's exciting. Our industry is very dynamic. It's constantly changing. And as I mentioned before, the great thing about the auto industry is the plethora of positions that are available within it. So everything from sales to technicians, to painters, to vehicle detailers, to marketing, human resources, information technology, you know, website managers, human resource specialists. I mean, I could go on and on, just the different areas of our business within the auto industry. And the auto industry is, as I mentioned, constantly growing and changing. We now have hybrid vehicles and electric vehicles, and more business is being conducted virtually, including selling cars online, which actually really got fast-tracked this year with COVID. So that was a fascinating time to really get all of those things up and running and quickly, and to demonstrate that we can sell vehicles remotely. And you know, so you constantly are having to look at how are things changing in this business and be prepared for those changes. So having said that, we need people who are innovative and who are customer service oriented, who can think outside the box. You know, I think that's really important, who can be great with technology. And, you know, we really want to focus on just being able to hire folks who have a desire to provide that extraordinary customer experience and be able to identify what that looks like. Additionally, we are experiencing just across our industry a shortage of vehicle technicians who can conduct service and repair work on vehicles. So there is a great deal of opportunity to really build a strong career within the auto industry.
Great. So that's good to know that the future's bright. There's plenty of opportunities for anyone looking to you know move into this industry after high school. Because you know, kind of segue into the final question of this whole interview is that the majority of people watching this the intended audience is high school students. So, in that next 1 to 5 years, they might be looking for a career, or at least getting on a path to a career. So that being said, what is the one piece of advice you would give any high school student who might be looking to get into your industry?
So, as I mentioned before, I mean, I'll get to the piece of advice, but I just want to emphasize, because, I am speaking to high school students. What is exciting is that you can start with us with an entry-level position and receive training and basically grow within our organization, which is really neat. Because I don't think every industry has that opportunity. A lot of times you have to have a bachelor's degree. And for us, I can share countless stories of our service manager from Toyota, for example. He started washing cars, and he just is now a service manager at Toyota. So he's a key leader in our company, and he just worked his way up because of who he is and how hard he works. So I think that's what's really neat. As a high school student, you have options. And it's a lot just based on your work ethic. And so I guess if I could share just one piece of advice, is learn the importance and how to give great customer service. And it's those little things like making eye contact and smiling and truly listening and sincerely doing everything possible to solve a problem and meet someone's need. And it's really as simple as, utilizing basic etiquette, like please and thank you and my pleasure. And, when you go to Chick-fil-A, it's a chicken sandwich, right? But you get that great customer experience and you hear that my pleasure. And, so if you can do that, I think you can be successful, not only in our industry, but really any industry. Just learn how to give an extraordinary customer experience.
It's funny, you said my pleasure, and immediately that was just right away. My mind went to Chick-fil-A. And when we're recording this, it's close to lunchtime. That helped as well. But I feel like they're at the point where they can almost trademark the term "my pleasure" because they've made it so well known. But you're absolutely right, that service is so important. And I just want to say thank you. That's our 10 questions. Really appreciate you taking the time to speak with us today, and just want to say thank you. Really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you, Kevin.
Thanks, Loni.